Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome back to another episode of History of a Haunting. We did take a 2-week break from new content, and we also didn't post anything to YouTube over the 2 weeks that we were getting ready for the very successful and flawless live 100th episode. Of course. I mean, it went off without a hitch. There were no problems whatsoever.
None at all. It was amazing.
It was amazing. Flawless. It was really flawless. And if we keep telling ourselves that, maybe that will make it true. But we're going to upload that.
It was funny.
It was funny. Yeah, it was funny. And everybody that was watching and joined in really had a great time. But we are going to post it on YouTube, and these 2 episodes, this mini episode, we're going to recap the Stanley Hotel in this episode and our experiences and time there. It's going to be released almost in tandem with the actual live, the 100th episode. So you guys will get to see and hear all of the, what do we want to call it, Laura? Shit show?
Yeah. I think that sounds about appropriate.
I think so.
Spot on. Why not?
The content of the show was really great. But the camera fucked up. It kept fucking up.
I agree.
But we had a great time. And I think we kind of stayed on script as much as we possibly could. And we had a wonderful time. Yeah, we had a wonderful time. So
we sure did.
I don't have any EVPs for this episode. Do you?
No.
I don't need. Yeah,
no.
Okay.
So
cool. So as we said, we are actually going to be doing a recap of the Stanley Hotel visit that we just came back from on Monday. So I don't know where to start. There's so much to tell. Our backgrounds are pictures that we did take while we were there at the hotel for the whole weekend. We got in Friday. We left on Monday. And I just don't know where to begin. There was so much. You start. I'm going to put that on you. Go ahead.
Well,
kick it off.
All right. Well, I guess we'll start at the beginning.
Laura and I met working at a company called On Q 6 years ago. Not that far back in the beginning. Am I going to? Okay.
But we did really enjoy the drive from Denver, where we all flew into, was not that long, a little over an hour and a half.
It wasn't that long at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, but it was really pretty.
Yeah.
Once you got in the mountains, it was really gorgeous. In the town where the Stanley is situated, as most of you know, it's up kind of on a hill, like overlooking towards a lake and other mountains. It's really some beautiful landscape. Obviously, it's very close to the Rocky Mountain National Park. Mm-hmm. Kind of right next door.
Yeah.
So we checked in Friday. What time did we get there?
We got there about 2.
2? Why do I think it was so much later?
It wasn't that much later. It was. Maybe it was about 3. It was about 3. Yeah, because it was after check-in time, which was 3 o'clock. So we were able to get right into our room. So yeah, it was about 3:30, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the hotel is super busy all the time. Like,
this weekend was unique, though.
The tours, the check-in. Yes. Yeah. They were having a wedding, and
it was the Elk Festival.
The Elk Festival.
The Elk Festival. Yeah. Yeah. We were like, what is happening?
So, and it being a weekend, of course. And, probably the beginning of it being October did not.
Right. Yeah. Probably not.
But, man, it was jamming.
It really was.
Said, yeah. Like she said, we got right in our room. That's when we checked in 217. Mm-hmm. Then we got right into getting ready to get set up for the episode, because we had to kind of lightly move things around and get stuff situated as best we could.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we had asked for a 6-foot table and 3 banquet chairs and were promptly denied. And so we just kind of had to make do. So it was a lot of trying to check out the layout of the room, see what areas would work for the camera, because the camera was connected to the laptop, so that couldn't be too far apart. And I mean, it was
just a lot of little stuff. Obviously, the tech issues continued, but we were doing a lot of stuff on the fly, trying to make everything kind of work. So,
but we had a great
which
time
we kind of knew
doing
we were going to
that.
have to. So
Yes, we had a great time doing all of that.
yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal at all. It was just a matter of what's gonna work best.
Right.
But we still did have time to kind of go downstairs and go to the bar, get drinks for the big event.
We did.
We, like Laura said, it was packed. It was packed all weekend, you guys. It was so busy. Why don't you tell them about that?
Was it the first time we walked out of the room that you and I walked out that we...
The first time. Yes,
Yeah.
It was the first time. Yeah.
So Carrie and I had gone... I think we were actually just going downstairs to get drinks.
Yeah.
And as soon as we walked out of our room, we were greeted with about 25 people standing there staring at our room.
Startled that we walked out the door. Right. Like, they were like, oh my God, somebody walked out of 217.
Like, are they real? What's happening?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty fun. Like, a little bit different than your average hotel. It was a little bit weird. A little bit awkward for a second, a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But that continued to happen to us throughout the weekend as we stayed in the most haunted rooms in the hotel. Yeah. So, let's see what else.
That was pretty fun though, and of course, in my vanity, I was like, "Oh my God, they know History of Hauntings here. They're here for." Oh right, I forgot. This is the room we're staying in.
But super funny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but still.
And Carrie can't, turn down an audience. So she's always chatting with everybody. I'm like, dude, I'm going to the bar. See you later.
Yeah. Well, it was funny, too, because the tour guides were like, has anything happened in your room? And, of course, I was like, absolutely. This is what's happened, and this is this, and this is that, and this is that, and on command, and blah, blah, blah. Because we brought our REM pod. Mm-hmm. And we set it, we turned it on almost the second we got in the room. And it was going off. Not super consistently, but fairly regularly, it was going off. Now, 217 is known to be haunted by Mrs. Wilson, the head housekeeper of the Stanley Hotel. And so we had this on. We also had it going through the live, and it did go off a couple of times. I thought it would go off a little more, but most of the time it was going off. It was generally Laura and Archie reaching for another drink because we had it on the table. But it did go off, and when we would ask, whoever it was setting it off to back away from it so that it would shut off on command. It was interesting. What did you think of the REM pod, Laura? Because we had a lot of, we use this quite a bit.
Nothing about it in the 217 room really, I thought was crazy, but in the next room, later, so we'll get to that, I'm sure.
We'll get to that, yeah.
That I thought we got more activity with the REM pod, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's the first time you have ever really kind of investigated with that device. What do you think of the device itself?
It's interesting. It is weird that it kind of randomly goes, you know what I mean? Because it scared the crap out of me. I was trying to take a nap. Is the hotel on fire? What the hell is happening?
It's not a pleasant sound, at all.
No, it's really not.
Not at all.
An alarm, a really obnoxious alarm.
It is. Yeah.
I do find the thing I found most interesting was when, not that it went off, but when we would ask it to stop, that it would stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was the most interesting part.
Yeah, that's a good time. I really like it. I've always wanted one. I'm really glad that I was able to get one for us before we went to the Stanley Hotel. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'm glad you did too. It was just kind of interesting. Something different to kind of fuck around with, see what happens.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck around, find out. And we did.
We did. We found out
so
a
the
lot.
show, as we said, went off without a hitch. It was great.
All the
We
hitches
did have a lot
happened.
of fun doing it, but
We did. We did. And you know what? I meant to be a little bit more organized about this, but Laura and I got home Monday evening. We went straight back to work on Tuesday. We've had a lot of stuff, in our homes that we've had to take care of and kind of get caught up on work and things like that. So I just got this set up like 2 hours before we started recording this tonight with the overlays and the pictures and all that stuff. But Laura, I did want to ask you to show everybody, and I have one, but show everybody what you won in the lightning round game, because you beat Archie. You won the lightning round of the most questions. And I also wanted to show everybody the awards that we all got. And I did not prepare you for that.
You didn't, but luckily.
Oh, she's got him there.
Please.
Yes. So that is what Laura, back over this way. There we go. So she won an autographed, a copy of the autographed Shining script. So, and it is the full script. It's really cool.
It is very cool. I put it into this little console. I have a bookcase so that it doesn't get messed up
cool.
until I can get something for it to
for sure.
Safe.
And then, well, there's that. And then I gave each of them a glass award that said, Laura Ackerman, co-host, executive producer.
Best.
Yeah, History of a Haunting Podcast 100th episode celebration had our logo on it. It was engraved, so we each got one of those.
It's fancy.
It's super fancy.
I
would go.
Fancy.
Mine is actually in my other office, my work office.
It's fancier than my pants. Mine is. I can't really move.
That's fine. You know what? We'll put it on the social media. It's fine. So we did. It was a weekend of celebrating. We did want to kind of redo the Stanley Hotel episode because, like I had mentioned in a number of things before, it was a really rough episode. The recording was really rough. The research techniques were really rough and kind of minuscule. So we really wanted to flesh all of that out and give you more information and on the history and the hauntings that you didn't know, that we didn't do. I didn't think we did the greatest on. So we definitely did that. We definitely brought the history. We definitely brought the hauntings. And we brought some of classic History of a Haunting tech issues and things like that. So all in all, Laura, I'm really proud of the live. I'm really proud of everything that we did. I think it was a really great time. All of the viewers had a really, really wonderful time. We only had one or two people that was like, this is, just get on with it. This is ridiculous. And that happened during the game. They were like, just get on with the story. But that was just one person.
I think it was quick.
It was quick, yeah. I mean, only 45 seconds.
Yeah, for real. So,
yeah,
like
it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't that bad at all. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
no.
I think. I mean, I thought the game was kind of fun, but I was wondering if people were going to kind of have that reaction only because I knew we were going to have a lot of new people kind of, checking us out for the first time. So
right, mm-hmm.
They don't quite know what to expect.
Right.
I feel like the history was really fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun for me to do.
Good, I'm glad.
Especially
you did a great
when I
job.
was finding out stuff that you didn't know. I was like, oh, because you usually are, kind of a freak. And I know how much you love the Stanley. So I was like, man, if I'm finding out stuff that you don't know, I'm doing my job now.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. And I knew if you didn't know it, that our viewers and listeners probably didn't know it. So I'm excited for that. I hope people really enjoy it.
She was pretty proud because she showed me her history notes before we even went to Colorado. And I was reading them, and like she was listening to my reaction as I read it, like while we were on the phone. And she was really excited that I was like, oh my God, I had no idea. Like she did. She really, Laura, you brought it. It was
really exciting. Well, thanks.
It was really, really great. I do want to ask you though. So in all the times that we were hanging out in the lobby and we were waiting for, because we only had 217 for one night. On Friday night, and it was the last night they had that room available all year, and we booked this in March. So we did hang out in the lobby quite a bit. We did hear, especially when we were waiting for brunch, we heard tours going through like the whole time. So I wanted to ask you, especially on the tour that we went on, did you hear anything on a tour that you didn't already know? Because most of what they covered in our tour, you knew. Because I would look at you and you would be like, I knew that.
I think there were some little things. I mean, more like about specific areas of the hotel, like that they had an ice cream parlor, in the billiard room and that kind of stuff. Like the thing about the flag up above the giant fireplace in the pinion room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like that. I think you would only find out about on the tour.
On the tours.
Yeah. Was really interesting, and I mean, it might be out there somewhere. I'm sure everything's on the internet, but
right. And we're gonna spill some secrets on this episode anyway. Yeah.
Wait, what'd you say?
We're gonna spill some secrets anyway as this in this episode. So they said we couldn't record them, but they didn't say we couldn't share the information. So
fair enough.
We're gonna do a little Stanley Hotel sneak peek for those of you who haven't. Especially because there's some stuff that I learned that I had no idea about and I'm utterly fascinated by. So of course I'm going to talk about it, but we'll get to that when we get to that night. Yeah. So nothing you were really surprised by except for like the flag and like some of that different. Cool. Yeah. Every time she'd say something that you had covered in the episode, I'd look at you and you'd be like, I already knew that. Yeah.
I'm the best.
Yeah, you hardly looked surprised really with anything that most of what she was saying. You kind of had already known, all of that stuff. I mean, you had done some great research. I'm really proud and I'm really grateful and I thank you very much because that was magnificent. Yeah.
Some of the stories of experiences there and stuff that you wouldn't know unless you went on the tour were also really cool. But there again, that's most of the stuff that we learned was more that I found most interesting on the tour was that kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and cool. Can we just say their tours that they give, and they give all kinds of tours. And when you go on a tour at the Stanley Hotel, everybody in whatever tour you've booked gets a different colored sticker. And I saw so many different colored stickers. I was like, well, what tour is that? Well, I didn't ever see the same colored sticker twice. So they give
there's a lot going on.
So many different tours all day long, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I think the last tour is maybe 8 o'clock at night. The night tours don't go up on the guest floors. They're just like the public spaces. And so the tour that we went on was a night tour. We didn't go up on the guest floors. But so many tours, and they are really well done. They're very well written. They are, Laura Sensei, I love it. They're really well rehearsed. The tour guides never felt like they were confused or lost or forgot anything that they were supposed to say. It was beautiful. They were very interactive with the groups. A Stanley Hotel tour is probably one of the best tours I have ever been on. I don't know. What do you think?
I thought the tour was really well executed. The whole setup for the tours and everything was very professional, easy. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of hiccups going on with those, especially like you said, they do them all day, every day. So, pretty awesome. Yeah. Good tour guides.
Really good tour guides. Really, really good tour guides.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's not just the one we went on. We would hear them, like she said, we'd be in the lobby. You hear them throughout the day. They'd be outside our room. They'd be outside the bar. They'd be outside whatever room we were in,
Yeah.
as far as even downstairs areas. So you hear
Well,
them a
and
lot.
even like outdoors, like we would be outside and, a tour group would go by. There were a couple of times where I'd be out having a cigarette and a tour group would go by. And, I mean, they're just all of them really consistent, just so good. And she did say, our girl did say in the beginning, before we even went on the tour, that we can take all the pictures that we want, but we could not record any audio or video because all of the Stanley Hotel tours are copyrighted. And if somebody records them and releases what they say on their tours, then that individual tour guide could get fired. So I was like, that's actually really kind of smart to copyright, like, because like we were saying, they give you so much information that isn't readily available online. I mean, like, obviously we're going to tell you everything we know, but not everybody, you know what I mean? It's just not, people aren't going on these tours and then going back and like writing articles in People or whatever magazine about every single thing that the tour guide said verbatim. Because we're going to forget a lot of what Ariana said. Anyway, that was our tour guide.
100%.
Yeah. Ariana was our tour guide. So if you go to the Stanley, you recommend her because she was really great. So right now, guys, we're going to take a quick little pause and we will be right back and talk to you a little bit about some of the paranormal experiences that we had at the Stanley Hotel. We will be right back. For you, it's going to be a blip of a second. Hi. See, that was quick.
Hi. Woo.
So fast. So first, guys, let's show you the infamous rooms that we stayed in. And by show you the rooms, I mean the doors. Apparently everybody was fascinated by the doors, so whatever.
Seriously.
So that's what room 217 looks like today. The door number has changed. I've noticed from other videos I've watched of people that have stayed in 217. I believe that it's on that wooden plate because the door number gets stolen a lot because every other room looks like 401. And it's the actual room number is affixed to the wall, but it would appear to me that maybe that was by design, simply because 217 is just, it's 217. So the other thing is that it would appear that the doors in the other parts of the hotel at one point might have been glass paned. I think we talked about that a little bit. We're back.
Sorry, I'm yelling at my son to be quiet. Like 3 rooms over, and he's like, "You're welcome."
I think we talked about that a little bit, how 401, it looks like at one point it did have glass panes, maybe frosted glass.
Glass panes, yeah. Which would still be kind of weird because it looks straight towards the bathroom, I think.
It does,
It's just
yeah.
weird to me to have glass, like, in a room that...
In an interior hallway, an interior hallway hotel. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But let's talk a little bit about the paranormal experiences that we had in the rooms. In 217, like I said, we had the REM pod that we had turned on, even as we were setting up, and it was kind of going on and off. It was definitely going off on command. That was kind of it for 217. We really didn't have a whole lot else happen. I did find it kind of amusing that when the video feed cut out, you jumped up to turn the camera back on, and everyone was like, when the camera came back on, Laura was gone. And everyone was like, a ghost got Laura! Yeah. So that was kind of funny. But other than that, 217, we really didn't, there wasn't too much more that happened in not too much more that happened in 217. However, there was a weird situation that I experienced in 217, and Archie was sitting on the couch. You had just, you just gotten out of the shower? Yeah, you just gotten out of the shower.
I think so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you were in the bathroom getting dressed and brushing your teeth for 5 hours.
Shut up.
This girl brushes her teeth a lot. Like, look at that smile. It's just so pearly white. A lot of elbow grease goes into brushing those teeth multiple times a day.
That's not a bad thing.
I mean, when it's every hour, it kind of maybe requires a conversation with a therapist. But I think.
It wasn't every hour. But also, we were drinking a lot, and, like, I drink a lot of coffee, and, you know, there was a lot going on, so I felt like I needed to brush my teeth.
Sure. Right.
Whatever.
Sure. I mean, so we're getting ready to check out because, like I said, we only had 217 for the night, and we had to move to our next room. Checkout time's at 11. We couldn't get into 401 until 3 o'clock that afternoon, so we're all packing up. We're getting ready to go. And I had moved my luggage over by the door because we were literally getting ready to leave. And then we had gotten a banner for the celebration that was in a box. So I went to go set the box on the dresser and just kind of get everything ready to leave. And as I set the box down on the dresser, I look, and in this room, they have a bunch of Stephen King books in between bookends on the dresser. And it was like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 books that Stephen King has written. Which, as a sidebar, I think it's really interesting that of all the books that Stephen King has written, the only one that wasn't included in this room was The Shining. I did find out later that the reason for that is that that's the one book that everybody steals when they stay in that room. So
yeah, that's what we were talking about. I think even when we stayed there, you had brought it up, and I was like, it's probably because it gets stolen all the time.
Yeah. And so I actually asked one of the employees. I was like, question for you, because it's a little weird to me. I think it was one of the tour girls that run the tours downstairs. Why is that? And it is. It's the one book that everybody steals. Yeah.
That makes perfect sense, though, because I mean, if
humanity.
I steal one of them, I would steal The Shining.
I mean, right from the room that it was conceived in, right? I absolutely, for sure.
100%.
But still, humanity. But, so, I set the box down on the dresser, and there is a paperback copy of The Dark Tower that is at the end of the row of books, right next to the one bookend. And I watched it lift up and back down. It was really quick. I almost was like, did I just fucking dream that? Like, it wasn't, so I had posted something on my personal Facebook page about this happening. And, one of my friends was like, you're a liar. And I, of course, immediately was like, I'm pissed. Fuck you, I'm not lying. But it was a book like this, and it just literally, like, got raised up about that far and back down. It wasn't quick. It wasn't like I said, it levitated and floated and then went back down into its spot. It literally was just, boop. That's it. So
now, I may have been in the other room and I did not see anything, but I heard her legitimately
freak out,
overwhelmed, crazy fucking reaction from the other room. So I can generally tell you that she saw what she saw or felt, you know what I mean? Whatever it was, like, your reaction to what had happened was realistic, legitimate, sincere. Like, you weren't, like, what are you gonna do? Why would you, like, make a big thing out of, like, to Archie and I? You know what I mean? Like, that would be really silly.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But, it was crazy.
Just freaking out.
See, well, I was, because I turned around, I was like, did you just see that? Did you just hear that? Because you could hear the
book, like, set back down.
Setting back down. It wasn't that loud, but, so I turned to Archie and I was like, did you just see that? Did you just hear that? And he was like, no, what? He was on his phone. He wasn't paying any attention.
Right.
So I immediately hit record on my phone and I'm videoing it. And I'm like, hey, I don't know what this was. This just happened. So I'm videoing myself investigating how that possibly could have happened and explain that. And that's about the point when you came out of the bathroom. But the bookends there's no lip to the back of the dresser. There's no, the mirror was raised up a little, so it couldn't have gotten caught on the frame of the mirror. The bookends are very flat, so there is no lip to them. There's nothing it could have gotten caught on. I panned the camera behind all the row of books, and I was like, look, there's nothing here. And it was next to a book that was a hardback book that had a jacket on it. And I thought, well, maybe the jacket's torn. And somehow, because I had been looking at the books the night before and just kind of like, oh, check it out. So I thought maybe I had put the Dark Tower paperback back in such a way that maybe if the jacket of the book it was next to was torn, it got raised up on that. It kind of got caught on it.
Right.
And then when I set the box down, which it's not a heavy box, I would have had to have slammed the box down. When I set the box down, I thought maybe, but that jacket wasn't torn. So there was nothing that could have done that. It was the weirdest thing. I didn't feel any kind of temperature change. I didn't feel, I didn't see anything in the mirror. Granted, I wasn't looking at that, but it wasn't, I literally just set the box down, and then I saw this book just go shoop, shoop, real quick. I can't explain it. I hope I never, ever forget that moment and that memory. I hope I never forget that, because that was genuinely unexplainable. And of course I didn't capture it because we were packing to leave. My phone was in my pocket.
Record 24/7.
Right. I wish.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, you do wish.
I do wish. Yeah.
So then we moved. So that happened right before we left, 2:17. And then we had a little bit of time to kill in between rooms. Mm-hmm. What did we do? We went to brunch.
We went to brunch.
And then we got our next room, which was 401.
Yeah.
Up on the 4th floor, which was pretty groovy. It was a nice room as well, and it had kind of a little extra room with windows.
Yeah, like it might
cool,
have been a balcony or a sleeping porch back when the hotel was first built. It was really cute. Archie slept there. Not because we made him.
Yeah, it was really cute.
He chose to.
True, he did.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have made him had he not actually chose to, but
yeah,
lucky for us, he went along.
Yeah.
And then almost as soon as we checked into 401, because I think you jumped in the shower, and you put the fucking REM pod on the ground because I was going to take a nap.
It had been a late night, Friday night, because after we did the live, we went to the bar, we were hanging out, we were celebrating, we were meeting new friends and having a great time. So it had been a very late night. So none of us really got a whole lot of quality sleep. So she was trying to take a nap. And I was like, okay, great. I'm just going to put this REM pod here by the closet. Right. And good night. I'll be out in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the middle of the day. Yes, I'm trying to take a nap. I don't remember. Was Archie working in the little rainbow or the window room, or was he? I feel like he wasn't even in there, but I can't remember.
No, he was. He was in that room, I think, because Archie was having to check work email and stuff. So whenever he would have a little bit of downtime, he was working. But 401 is the room for all of you fans that are people that are fans of Ghost Hunters. This is the room where Jason Hawes stayed overnight, and he captured the closet door of this room. It opens, and then he wakes up, the glass is broken, he trains the camera on the closet door, and he films the door shutting on its own. That's this room. So I put the REM pod next to the bathroom door and that closet door. And then I got in the shower, and Laura had problems.
Yeah, it kept going off. And I think she posted a TikTok of when I started recording it. And then it was funny because she had just gotten out of the shower. And when I say it went off, it wasn't a blip, it went off. It wasn't going on. It wasn't stopping. She had just got out of the shower. She hears it. She's like, can you please step back? Immediately it stopped.
Yeah.
So
that's what I love about this REM pod is it's got this antenna, and then it has all of these different, let's see, the light is all of these different lights on it. And the lights signify something different. So there's a green one for somebody has broken through the EMF field or something. If we stepped close enough to it, we could set it off. But you almost have to step right on it to set this thing off. And then there's a a blue light that is temperature change, and then there's a yellow light, and then so there's all these different lights on it. I don't think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
When I say it was going off, I mean multiple of those lights were blinking.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it wasn't just one. So multiple were going off.
So it's going
you
off.
Can't really see it with the light, but
you can't. But
yeah,
with me touching it, that's what.
Annoying.
It's super annoying.
Don't let Carrie sit it next to you when you're trying to take a fucking nap. A haunted room or whatever. Yeah, kind of a dick move, but that's fine. I still love you. But
yeah,
continued to happen in 401 quite a bit. And then we went out. We did the tour. We had dinner. And yeah, most of Saturday was kind of the ghost tour. Mm-hmm. Chilling. We went to explore the grounds, that kind of stuff. And we went to the nice restaurant on premise there for dinner, nice. And then we went to sleep fairly early because we were pretty worn out from the night.
We were pretty worn out, yeah. That was the night. Was it Saturday night? I think it was Saturday night. So Lord Dunraven, that's the Lord Dunraven suite, the room that we were in. And he is known to mess with women, not really like men to be in the room. And he likes to grope women. He's kind of a misogynistic asshole. So we're getting ready to go to bed, and Laura and I were sharing a king bed. Archie was in the little sunroom on his rollaway. And Laura and I had the TV on. We're trying to sleep. It was just one of those situations where, for whatever reason, none of us could sleep that night, even though we were all freaking exhausted. But I'm laying there, and I'm facing Laura, and I feel someone poke me in the butt. And I jerk because that's what you do. And Laura's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, somebody just put me in the butt. I got up and I was like, it wasn't really hard. It was just like, someone poked me in the butt. There's no other way to describe it. That's exactly what happened. And
it was super funny. I mean, because all of a sudden, we're being super lazy on the bed.
Yeah.
She's like on her side with this huge bed. I'm over on the other side, just like, I don't know, staring off into the TV. And all of a sudden, she just jerks, like,
yeah.
What the fuck?
It startled Laura because we were just so chill for like the longest time. And then
all of a sudden she starts jerking.
Yeah.
I'm like, what has happened? She's like, somebody just poked me in the butt.
Yeah. I turned and looked, and I was expecting to have like Archie standing there or something, but Laura was awake. Like, the TV was on. I could see that she was awake. And if Archie had gotten up out of the little room and walked to my side of the bed, which that's like the immediate side, she would have looked at him. And then I would have been like, oh, okay, Archie's standing there. Right. Nothing. There was nothing. She had no reaction. Yeah, she had no reaction, nothing. So that was Saturday night. And then Sunday, Laura decided to be a hero and fucking hike a massive mountain. Archie and I went to brunch while she did that. But Sunday night, we decided, or I decided for the group, that we were going to do some investigating in room 401. We had a lot of really good experiences and a lot of really good situations that happened with the REM pod. So we put the REM pod back down. And then what we did was we did a spirit box session, or the Estes method, in the room.
Right.
With our little spirit box. This is our little SB7. And basically, we've talked about it a number of times, but if you're not familiar with it, if you're not familiar with the Estes method, I'll explain that here in a second. But basically, this is a little radio, and it scans radio frequencies on AM or FM every eighth of a second. It's just scanning new radio frequencies every eighth of a second. So the idea behind this great little device is that a spirit can manipulate the energy of the radio frequency and come through in real time. Whereas if you have an EVP recorder and you let that sit, you may not hear what they're saying. They may be communicating with you, but you won't hear it until playback. The idea with this is that you will hear it come through the radio frequencies. It's very interesting, and I really like spirit boxes simply because it's not, especially at a quarter of a second or an eighth of a second or whatever setting you have it on, it's very rare to actually pick up a word or a sentence or something when a radio frequency is flying by that quickly, right? So the idea is that if you can get one word, two word, whatever, the idea is that that is a spirit. So what the Estes method is, and it was actually developed in Estes Park at the Stanley Hotel. What it is somebody does sensory deprivation, and Laura didn't want to do it, and so we didn't make her.
I did not.
But basically what we did was we took our headphones, I brought my headphones, we plug it into the spirit box, and then we blindfold ourselves. So we have lost all sense of sight. We have our hearing is solely focused on the radio, so we can't hear what the other people are saying. So I did it first. And all I could hear was the white noise of the radio and the frequencies scanning by. And Archie and Laura were communicating and asking questions of whoever, whatever might be in that room. And then as I heard words come through on the spirit box, I would spit them out. So Laura, why don't you tell them about what you guys experienced when I was doing the Estes method and had my sight and sound blocked?
It was pretty cool. I mean, to be honest, like Archie and I remember it started slowly. The REM pod did go off. We're kind of shouting questions, and as soon as the REM pod really started going off, you started spouting out really spot on answers to the questions that we were asking, or at least something that made sense.
Was relevant to
timing, too. The other part of it is like, yes, you pause and after your question, and then there's an answer. So it's not like in the middle of your question. It's a timing thing too, not just the answers, right? So they're coming after the question. I mean, I remember looking at Archie and we were just like, what the fuck? At one point. And then the REM pod stopped going off and then it kind of waned, right? Like, like you weren't even shouting out that much stuff or saying that much, and we weren't really like, you could just tell it kind of wasn't in tune anymore.
Right. And we were recording this on my phone when that happened. So what I did when I got home, I listened to the full recordings because I did it and then Archie did it. And what I did notice, and I'm going to just kind of read what I messaged to you guys simply because I don't want to stammer through it right now as I'm doing everything else.
Well, why not? That's what we do.
But what was interesting was when we were listening back to it, Archie and you were talking to somebody who was very definitely concerned with that man. And you two thought they were talking about Archie. Which
we did.
When we played it back that night, I thought that was what you guys were talking about too. But when I listened to it through my other headphones, we actually picked up an EVP that I didn't hear and you guys didn't hear. But the recording heard it. And it's a female voice saying, "Me too." And you say something, or you ask something, Laura, to the effect of, do you like groping girls in this room? Do you, have you groped a lot of girls in this room, or something to that effect? And that's when we capture the EVP that says, "Me too." Like, yeah, he groped me too. And I thought, oh, wait a minute, hang on. That's a new character that's being introduced to what is going on here. Right. So I don't think that you guys were talking to Lord Dunraven. I think that you were talking to a woman. Like I said, you asked if he likes to touch girls. We had caught that EVP of a female voice saying, me too. And then the spirit kept referring to that man because I kept spitting that out. That man, here, there. And you guys thought it was Archie. And you were saying, do you want Archie to leave? Should Archie go out of the room? Da, 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 da. And then all of a sudden, like you said, the REM pod stopped. I stopped spitting out words. And I think that whoever was coming through that was very concerned about a man that you thought was Archie, I think it was a female spirit that you guys were communicating with that was talking about Lord Dunraven. And I think that he came back. And once he did, that was when I went silent, the REM pod went silent, and all of the communication stopped in that moment.
Well, and if we think about the history of that fourth floor, right, it was nannies up there, help, and small children. So, you would have a lot of the staff that actually stayed up there during the summer months when people came to stay.
Yeah. Yeah. And they did say on the tour that Lord Dunraven he never stayed at the Stanley Hotel. He didn't die on the property, but he did own the land. It was, he is a documented spirit in that hotel. So, it wouldn't be a stretch. He wasn't the greatest guy. He, as far as what he did for the community or in direct opposition of the benefit of the community, and the way that he just kind of treated people and was sort of misogynistic and gross, it all kind of falls in line with that. But I thought that was really interesting. And the minute I heard that female voice say me too, I was like, whoa, they're not talking to him. I really don't think you were talking to him. I think you were talking with another female, maybe nanny,
spirit.
maybe another spirit that didn't want to be there when he was there. And then I think he came back because then when Archie did
it.
Yeah. You and I talked a lot. Archie spit out the word fame. And you and I were like, are you whose fame? Yes, you are famous. And there was something else that Archie said, and I have to go back and listen to it. Something along the lines of the other one. And we were like, the other, like F.O. Stanley. And then.
Right. And that's when.
Yeah.
We got some
interesting stuff there. I think he said something, then Archie spit out, did good things when we mentioned F.O. Stanley. And so then it was really quite interesting that it was very obvious that he didn't like F.O. Stanley. I mean, another thing we learned on the tour was the hotel was supposed to be called the Dunraven.
Right.
But the people of the community of Estes Park wanted nothing to do with that. They didn't want that. They didn't want it named the Dunraven. And didn't they file a petition or something? Is that what she said?
They did, to have it named after F.O. Stanley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't want any part of it. The guy was such an ass. So we had a really fun Estes Method sensory deprivation session in the Stanley Hotel. We will release all of that for our Patreons. And then, let's see, that was that for that night. Then we went back down. We were hanging out at the bar. We met that lovely married couple, and they were like, "Can you take our picture?"
Ran into later.
Yeah, yeah. So there was a couple that had gotten married, not the people that had the wedding the night before that was part of the reason it was so busy, but another younger couple had gotten married, and they were spending the night at the Stanley Hotel before they left on their honeymoon on Monday. And Laura and I were down in the bar hanging out and chatting with people, and they asked me to take their picture. So I take their picture, and then the next day at the airport, I'm the last one to leave. Laura and Archie left first, and then I am at my gate super early, and the flight before me was going to Frankfurt, Germany. And this guy walks in front of me, and he's like, "Didn't you take our picture at the Stanley Hotel?" And of course I'm on my phone, and I look up and I'm like, "Oh my God." And so it just happened to be this same young couple of all the gates in all of the terminals in all of this same young couple. And I ran into each other on the way home the next day, which I thought was really cool. So
that was awesome.
Yeah, super awesome. But that was pretty much it that we had in 401, except for what I'm going to call the coup de grace because it was insane. We're getting ready to go to bed. Everybody's kind of, now the TV is off this time. This time we're all really tired. It's our last night there. It's been a full weekend. Laura's just about asleep. I'm just about asleep. Archie's just about asleep. And this time I've got my back to Laura and I'm facing the bathroom door, which was kind of catty corner to where the bed was. And I open my eyes and the lights from the courtyard behind the room, like what we were facing, we weren't facing the front of the hotel, we were facing the back. The lights from there were shining through, and we had the bathroom door open. And I saw the shadow of a man standing in the bathroom door. I immediately freak out, and I'm like, oh my God. And again, I jerk up, and Laura's like, what the fuck is wrong with you now? I jump up.
It's a common theme for the weekend.
It is. I jump up, and I race into that bathroom, and I shut the bathroom door. And Archie was like, oh my God. And I slammed it shut. I was like, oh my God. I slam it shut. And as I do that, Archie goes, oh my God. And then I'm like, what? And Laura's like, what the fuck is going on? Over it. Fucking over it.
Well, I was like asleep, and all of a sudden, all the
commotion. Yeah,
I had just fallen asleep, and then there's all this crazy commotion going on. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
What is fucking happening? So Archie goes, oh my God, Carrie. He was like, the second you ran in to shut the door, he saw a shadow follow me, go run from Laura's side of the bed, ran from Laura's side of the bed, and followed me into the bathroom as I shut the door. I was like, I'm sorry, you what? And Laura's like, what the fuck? Like, by this point, she's probably like, it's time to go home. It's time to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another.
Just, don't wake me up after I finally fall asleep.
Mm-hmm. That was a pretty crazy experience. It was really quite terrifying to open your eyes, because I was going to open my eyes and turn over. You know how you do. And there was a figure of a man standing in that bathroom looking at us. I assume he was looking at us. He didn't have eyes. Maybe it was his back. I don't really know. But I'm not entirely sure where I got the courage to jump up and run toward him to shut the door. But that was scary in and of itself. And then Archie freaked out because he watched another shadow run from Laura's side of the bed. Which, by the way, what the fuck was that dude doing? Just standing there next to you? That's creepy.
That's super creepy watching me sleep.
Right? I don't like it. I've said it a million times in this podcast. Don't watch me sleep. I don't like it. So that was the paranormal experiences that we had at the hotel. I think it's definitely haunted. It's definitely haunted. I think it's the most beautiful, beautiful place. It's super, super old. The history is amazing. Laura, what do you think? Or what is your... of all the things we learned about the hotel, what was something that interested you the most that you didn't know? And what were you most excited or impressed to see of this iconic location?
Jeez.
Yeah, no pressure. 2 questions.
No, I know, right? Fuck.
Right?
I think it was super cool to see the tunnels underneath.
Oh God, yeah! I almost forgot about that shit.
Yeah. Because it's not something you see a lot of pictures of or even know that's there, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I think the most interesting stuff was when you go on the tour, they kind of show you pictures of stuff that's been captured, and they tell you stories, and some of them are personal stories. And I think that to me was the most interesting, because I love to hear, a firsthand account of, to be in the place where somebody's telling you, this happened to me here, right here,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know the history of and that kind of stuff. So, and it was super cool to, see the piano we talked about in the episode, and it was cool. That stuff was really cool, and just to be there. It's a beautiful location. It is gorgeous grounds. It's just nice to.
The weather was amazing. The weather was amazing.
It was perfect. Yeah.
Laura had the best time hiking. She hiked up the mountain by herself. She was like, "You want to go with me?" And I was like, "No." Archie was like, "Nah,
we're going to brunch.
We're gonna go to brunch."
So, And then
Yeah.
I made them go to brunch with me again after I got down because when I came down, I was like, I'm starving.
I'm starving. Yeah. So we went to brunch again.
Give me something to eat.
Yeah.
They watched me eat.
We did. We're not even sorry. I think that I'm going to show a couple of pictures. And the first picture is of the grand staircase. It is, one of the more famous locations in the hotel. The second picture is the music room. And it's all blocked by stanchions. If you're not on a tour. So we were super excited to be able to go into the music room when we were on our tour. And I just think, again, like Laura, like you said, just being in those places, just sort of, there was just something really, really wonderful and a little surreal about it. I think one of the things that I cannot seem to get over or wrap my mind around is if you look at this picture of the music room and you see, the posts on the walls, you see the trim, you see the wainscoting, you see the trim up above, around all of the windows. If you look at that, it's all plaster. What I didn't know is that it's the same exact design throughout the lobby. And what I didn't know was that the entire lobby is also plaster. Which blew my mind. And
all of a sudden we're walking around tapping on stuff.
Yes. Like knocking on, there's no way. But apparently it is. And the reason, when Stephen King filmed his version of The Shining at the Stanley Hotel, he didn't want the lobby to look like plaster, and he had them paint it to look like wood. So when you see pictures of this big, beautiful, dark, rich, wood-colored lobby, it's plaster, which I thought was really, really interesting. And it's going to be a fact that I tell everybody for the rest of my fucking life, because I just can't seem to wrap my brain around it. But I'm guessing, it was destined for foreclosure. And like you had mentioned, it was, going to be raised really soon before Stephen King stayed there. So I would imagine during renovations and things like that they just decided that plaster would just kind of be easier to maintain or what have you. And then, of course, the man that saved its proverbial life came in and said, I want it painted. They were like, absolutely anything you want. Because if you're Stephen King and this is Stanley Hotel, you're going to get whatever you want. Let me take a look and see. I can't remember the other pictures that I posted or that I brought up to share. Let's see what this one is. Oh, yes, this one. Oh, my God. This one I was super excited for. This is an old typewriter that is down in the tour room. So when you go take a tour of the Stanley Hotel, everybody has to gather in this one room where they talk to you about, these are the rules, this is that, don't record, don't audio, blah, blah, blah. All right, now we're going to go. But they have this typewriter, this old typewriter in the room. And in the typewriter, as you can see, it says all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, which is one of the more famous lines from the original Shining with Jack Nicholson. I did ask, and this is one of the actual pages that was in The Shining, the actual Shining, not the remake that Stephen King did, which I actually think is kind of better because it follows the book, but whatever. This is actually one of the pages that is from the movie. So I thought that was really, really cool too. In the end, we all had, so cool. In the end, we all had a really fabulous, wonderful time and took a bunch of pictures. The black and white one is us toasting a very successful live, and we are drinking whiskey out of one of the Stanley glasses in the whiskey bar there, served by the illustrious Lindsay. Am I saying that right? Is it Lindsay?
Yeah.
Okay, yay, Lindsay, thank you. Lindsay worked all weekend that we were there, and she kept the drinks flowing, and she was really, really great. The next picture is us on our ghost tour with our little white stickers. Like I said, everybody on a different tour has different stickers. And then the middle picture is Laura and I at the top of the grand staircase. Archie did take this. It's one of our promo shots. It's weird. You can see the window through us. Maybe we're ghosts. We're not really sure. So anyway, those are the photographs that we wanted to share. We had a really wonderful and beautiful time. And there's Zane. Hi, baby king.
Yeah, he thinks he's a celebrity now.
He is a celebrity now.
Sneak in and try to say hi.
Yeah, he is a celebrity now. So, I mean, as we all are, really. Yeah.
For sure.
So, anyway, guys, we had a really wonderful time. We certainly did enjoy spending time with you on Friday night. It was a clusterfuck. You all hung in there with us, and we really want to say thank you so much for that. It was still a good episode regardless. Like I said, Laura's history kills it. I fleshed out some of the hauntings a little bit more than we had done previously, and all in all, I think it was a really wonderful 100th episode. We certainly hope that you enjoy it. If you want to play, your own drinking game like we played during that, that's entirely on you. We do not expect, encourage, or support that, but shit went off the rails that night.
Yeah. And don't go with anything high alcohol content, because you're gonna be drinking.
Yeah.
So get something very sessionable.
White Claw, or I think they brought Zima back. I'm not really sure.
Something for sure manageable, because you're gonna be drinking it. Get a couple.
You're gonna be drinking it.
You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, you're gonna have a good time. We will alert you that when the camera turns back on, each time Laura and Archie turn the camera back on, it would chime really loudly. So there's that on that. But otherwise,
sorry, it's annoying.
Yeah, it is annoying. Sorry, it is what it is. We will get it fixed for the next live, which Laura and Archie have said we're not doing it. We're not doing it again, but we are. So to that end, that's all I had. Laura, do you have anything else that you want to add about anything cool that we learned about the hotel?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, we talked a lot about. I think we covered a lot of what we learned.
Yeah. It was a great time.
And, the stuff that we talk about in the episode is awesome and fun. And I had a great time learning about it and then going to see it and doing it.
I think that's the best.
Incredible.
That's the most fun, cool. Right? Yeah. Learning about it and then actually going and to see it, I think. And then all the new stuff that you don't learn. We definitely recommend staying at the Stanley Hotel at least once, even maybe for a night. I think we can all agree, Laura, that you should get a group together. Because it was not cheap. It was not cheap. It was not cheap. It is, one of those boutique hotels, and it is an iconic hotel. And if you want to stay in room 217 or room 401 or any of their other Spirited King rooms, be prepared to spend the money for it, because, man, did we. And we booked our shit in March.
Yeah.
And we
that's the only reason we got it. I mean, we did have so many people come by, like when we were checking in and out. I think both times when we checked out of both rooms, we had people that happened to be outside taking pictures or, or going by the room as we were coming out.
Yeah.
And both times we had people come in and take a look, because I did it 217.
Yep.
And then I had two girls come in, and then when we were checking out a 401, we had a couple that was just outside, and they were like, oh, can we look inside your room?
Yeah, do you mind if we... Yeah, we were like, go ahead. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so,
if that was me, I absolutely would have wanted to as well. And it was
absolutely.
It's really cute.
We were leaving,
it is. We were so excited for it. And
yeah.
We had the opportunity to stay there, and I know... that a lot
others
of people
would
obviously want to and they can't, so it's not an easy room to get into. So it was really cool to be able to share that with a couple extra people, and it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, it was. It was really cute too, because I was like, that's the closet that Jason on Ghost Hunters recorded open, and they were like, oh my god, no. Right. So then like her husband or her boyfriend, or I'm not sure who he was like, well, I'm gonna get in the closet. She's like, oh, I gotta get a picture. They had the best time, and they were super cute.
So cute.
They also said that they were going to start listening to the podcast. So, guys, if you are listening, we are certainly super grateful that you're giving us a chance. We were more than happy to share 401 with you for even just a brief moment of time. And then... it
was just cute.
It was just
cute stuff like that. There's the one thing that seemed to go on the whole weekend was that there's so many nice people that were there. So many people that were into the history of the Stanley, just so excited to be there that everybody kind of geeks out together. Like, so it's really
Sure.
cute, like in the way
It's
that
true.
I don't think I've ever had that in another hotel where we're all there really for the same purpose and
Yeah.
kind of like all excited about the same stuff. Like, really, that's why everybody goes. So it's I just thought it was really cute. Like, everybody's there for the same. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like there's a whole vibe, and it's cool, and everybody.
It
Wants
is,
to talk
yeah.
about it and wants to listen and wants to,
Nobody
have
is
the feels in that hotel.
Right, yeah, and nobody is like, oh my god, this is a bunch of bullshit, blah blah. There's none of that.
Yeah.
Oh, also, we forgot about the bear. So apparently, a Friday night, guests spotted a bear on the property, and they had seen the bear. The bear was kind of around. So there is a lovely gentleman named Cole he worked at the front desk, and he gave Laura and I an impromptu tour of the pet cemetery on Sunday night before we left. And he was like, if the bear's still on property, we'll just stick together. Don't run. We'll stay together. We'll flash lights. We'll flash lights at it. We'll make some noise. And then, hopefully the bear will go away. And Laura and I were like, we are pushing you down and running.
You're now bear food.
You are now bear food in your lovely suit. He was really cute, by the way. Had a crush. But, so there was a fucking bear on property.
Nice.
Super nice. We never saw the bear.
Went out of his way to take us down there and talk to us about it. And yeah, he was super cool. Really nice guy.
He was really, really wonderful.
All the staff was awesome, by the way. All of them. So
amazing.
Just about everybody that we came into contact with, from the maintenance guy to everybody at the front desk to the bartenders to I mean, everybody was awesome.
Everybody.
So
The tour.
that's one thing I have to say.
The tour guide, the girls in the gift shop, everybody was really great. But it really wasn't a thing that I was prepared to experience. I have to be trained on how to deal if you run into a fucking bear at a hotel. Which he did say that a bear had gotten into the hotel a couple of years prior, and one of the front desk agents videoed it. So if you guys would like to see this, apparently it's a common thing, and it is on YouTube. Just simply search bear in the Stanley Hotel, and you will see it. It just walks right in. It's climbing on furniture. It's kind of, and I was like, oh my god. So yeah,
that's hysterical, though.
That was a little alarming that there was a bear on property, and they were having to tell guests how to handle it if they came across it. All in all, I definitely would love to go back. I'm going to have to save my pennies because, like I said, it was a very expensive trip. Very worth the money, I think. And this was a very special occasion for the podcast. Laura, Archie, and I had a really wonderful time. No, the 100th live episode didn't go as planned. As far as the technical aspect of it, but everything else, it really did. Everybody had a really wonderful time. We had our largest audience ever, and I consider it a really resounding success. So I want to thank you all very, very much for listening and tuning in. And we hope you enjoy the episode. It's going to be out, the same day this comes out. We're going to release these two in tandem, so... Anyway, Laura, what do you have to sign off?
I think that's it. We kind of went up the bear. We talked about the pet cemetery.
We did all the things. Yeah, we did all this stuff. It's fun to relive that. So as always, guys, we do want to encourage you to follow us on all of our social media. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, the Twitter. We are also on the TikTok. HOAH podcast, HOAH Carrie, HOAH co-host Laura. And to that end, we just want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. We certainly do hope you enjoy the redo of the Stanley Hotel. And if you have your own experiences and stories at the Stanley Hotel, share them with us. We definitely want to hear. So,
for sure.
That's all we got.
Thank you.
Are we done? Is that it?
I think so.
All right. All right. Well, Laura, you have lots of stuff to do because she's going out of town again this weekend. So off you go. Also, look at our backgrounds. Right. It's from the last episode.
I know. It's getting all fuzzy now.
It is. It's getting all crazy. Anyway. Bye, guys. We love you. Thank you so much.
Axl Rose.
Oh, Jesus. As always, stay safe out there because you never know who
or what.
There it is listening. Bye, guys.
It could be a bear.
It's probably going to be a bear.
It's probably a bear.
All right. Bye, guys. We love you.